Hello, welcome to Power System Analysis Part 2. I am Dr. Divya Sarkar and we'll be talking about module 1, and in this lecture we'll be talking about the first part of the module 1. So this would be an introductory class. Now we are talking about power systems, but there are three major operations that we should be aware of. Okay, because these are the three important problems that the power system faces day after day. The first problem is the load flow problem. The second is the optimal load scheduling problem. And the third is the systems control problem. Now, what is the load flow problem? It is a problem that is what amount of load is being transferred from the source to the load. Now, it is not that simple because all the sources and all the loads are interconnected. And depending on the different parameters, the transmission lines, the line connections, the amount of the load consumption of the load consumption capability, and amount of generation at every end, the amount of load that is being transferred from one point or to the other changes. The next part is the optimal load flow scheduling problem. Here we are to optimize the scheduling of the generators. The sources that are the generators are not only from the thermal power plants but also from the hydroelectric plants and other resources, other sources like solar and wind. Now this power source is not available every time, and in order to operate them economically, we need to schedule these generators at different instance of the day, month, or the year. The next part is the systems control problem, where the power system control is on focus, where we want to control the power flow from one end to the other. We need to control the voltage at different buses. We need to control the power flow at different buses. In this module, we'll be talking upon the load flow problem. Now, what is this load flow problem? It is mainly information that is obtained from the study that comprises the magnitude and the phase angles of the load bus voltages, the reactive power at generator buses, real and reactive power flow on transmission lines, and maybe other specified variables. So it is basically calculation of the bus voltages along with its angle, the amount of reactive power that the generator bus produces or accepts, and the real and reactive power flow that goes to that flows to different transmission lines. Now, all these different kinds of conditions create different bus variables we'll be talking about in the later part. Now, remember, in this calculation, there are four variables: the bus voltage and the angle of the bus voltage, the active power and the reactive power. In different situations, different bus provides some number of variables. That means we are able to know out of these four any two of variables, the other two variables were unknown to us. So this load flow problem is to find out what are those unknown variables. Now let us go to the history of the load flow. Previously, before the digital computers, AC calculating boards were used to carry out the load flow studies. Obviously, these calculating boards can only accommodate a couple of buses, because as we will see that the calculation of this load flow is very difficult and actually is not possible to solve. What we do is we come close to the solution by iterative method only. Now with the availability of digital computers, those kinds of tough and difficult problems are solved immediately, or just it takes a few minutes to solve. So with this advent of the computers, calculations and load flow studies have become easier, and hence it becomes much comfortable to manage a huge amount of power system and the power flows. Before we start the calculation, we need to first formulate the network model. Now, how and what are these network models? We are not new to this. We are already done this kind of model previously, because in the from the very start when we draw resistors, capacitors, and inductors, what we did were nothing but modeling of the real resistors, capacitor, and inductor, and we have idealized those things, those components, so as to make our work easier. But in the actual case, it might differ. But for our only calculations, we have actually used the ideal versions of the resistors, inductors, and capacitors. Now, in order for the network model formulations, we need to consider a few points. That is, a power system comprises of several buses which are interconnected by means of transmission lines. Power is injected into a bus from generator while the load is tapped from it. There are or there may be buses buses with only generators and no loads, and there may be others with only loads and no generators. And the VAR generators, that is the reactive power generators, may also be connected to some buses. So in order of to formulate this network, all these points should be kept in mind. Now we'll talk about one line diagrams. I think you have already learned a single line diagram. A single line diagram is the representation of a three-phase system. Remember, the single line does not represent a single phase. Okay, so in this diagram below, I have shown the four bus system with generators and load at each bus. It is sufficiently accurate to represent a short line by a series impedance and long line by a nominal pi model, or equivalent pi may be used for very long lines. We have already we had talked about the different kinds of models for the short line, long line, and medium line. So for the medium line, the nominal pi model is used here. Often, line resistance may be neglected with small loss in accuracy, but a great deal of saving in computational time. The line resistance, although it is there, it is most of the time neglected, taken as zero, because the admittance, or like the inductance and capacitance of the transmission line, is so large that resistance can be neglected. And with the neglecting of this line resistance, the calculations becomes much more easy. Okay. Now for systematic analysis, it is convenient to regard the load as negative generators and lump together the generators and load powers at the buses. So what we are doing is that we are considering for the analysis a load to be a generator of negative power. Okay, and both the generators and the loads are lumped together to make our calculation easier. Now let us consider the ith bus. Let us consider the ith bus. Okay. So in the any one, let's say the first bus or the second bus or the 20th bus or the 200th bus, any bus, random bus you take, let the total complex power that is being injected is S with the subscript I. Remember, when we are using this subscript, we are saying that it is this S belongs to bus number I. So the total power injected or total apparent power or complex power injected in the bus is given as SI. And SI is the sum of PI plus JQI. What is PI? PI is the real power and QI is the reactive power at ith bus. And P and Q are related that they lie on two different axes of the imaginary plane. So when we add them P plus JQ, we get the total injected power at bus I. Now this total injected power can be divided as generated power at the bus minus the demand or the load power at that bus. For example, let us say 100 amount of power is injected inside a bus. That 100 amount of power can be said that 200 amount of power is generated at the bus and 100 amount of power is being taken away from the bus. So the bus is left with 100 amount of power, and we can say the bus has been injected with 100 amount of power. Okay, so hence the injected power can be divided as generated power minus the demand power, and generated reactive power minus the the demand reactive power. The complex, where the complex power supplied by the generator is this. So the SGI is nothing but the complex power that the generator generates, okay, which is the sum of the real power PGI and the reactive power QGI. And the complex power that is drawn is SDI, that is equal to PDI and JQDI. So the real and reactive power injected into the ith bus are then PGI minus PDI, and the reactive power is QGI minus QDI. Now this is valid for the ith bus, and hence it can be valid for any number of bus starting from first bus, second bus to n number of bus. Okay. The structure of the power system is such that all the sources are always connected to a common ground node. That means all the elements that are connected to this power system have a common ground. You see, all these elements, these are capacitance or admittance or the different reactances in the transmission line, all are grounded and these grounds are common. So when all these things are grounded, what kind of analysis can we think of? It should be a node voltage analysis. We'll talk about that in the coming slides. The line admittance between the node I and node K is depicted as YIK or YKI. So we are talking about line admittance from load I and K. Let's say load 1 to load 2. The line admittance becomes Y12 or Y21 because Y21 and Y12 are same. The mutual admittance between line is assumed to be 0. We are not considered this line affecting this line or this line affecting this line. So mutual inductances are neglected. Now we have seen in the previous diagram, I'll just show you the previous diagram. So from here, I have talked about that in order to analyze it, we need to use the node voltage analysis. Here, we are considering every bus to be a single node. Okay. So if we consider bus to be nodes, we can write the node equations like J1, that is the current in the bus 1, is the summation of the voltage at bus 1 into the into the admittance that is connected to the bus, solely connected to the bus, plus the change of the voltage multiplied by the admittance of the transmission line, plus the change of the voltage multiplied for the transmission line for the other bus. So let us check the first equation. Let's say I'm talking about bus 1 and bus 2. Now let's say bus 1 is also has some kind of admittance itself. Here it is not shown, but let's say the bus 1 has an admittance that is called a self admittance. Okay, so this voltage of bus 1 is V1, so it will be V1 into Y10. Okay, so V1 into Y10 minus V1 minus V2 into Y12. Now this Y12 is nothing but this total admittance of this transmission line. So V2 minus V1, that is the power that is transferred from this point to this point, from point 1 to point 2, multiplied by the admittance. Then plus this power V1 minus V3 multiplied by this admittance. So using these concepts, there are four equations that is being produced. Okay, so from the four buses, four equations are produced. Now these equations can be written in this format, and if you rearrange them, we can write in terms of a matrix. Now you can see this diagonal matrix carries all the self admittance together. Okay, so this diagonal matrix will be very important, and this off diagonal matrix, off diagonal elements you see that are coming as negative are the elements that are connected between two lines, or between two buses. So y12, y13, y23, y24, these are connected to these buses. Like this y1 is the admittance connected between 1 and 3. The standard format of this node voltage analysis is something like this. We have this is a Y matrix or the admittance matrix. Okay, this is the current, this is the voltage. Now you can imagine this is the condition for 4 buses. What will be the condition for 400 buses or 4000 bus system? So it will become complicated as we increase the number of buses. Okay, now if we compare the above and this matrix and this matrix, we can see y11 can be termed as y10 plus y12 plus y13. Similarly, y22 can be compared to y20 plus y12 plus y23 plus y24. So hence, by this way, all these y's can be found out. Okay, so these are the calculation. You can do it by yourself and check it. Now, for your benefit, this diagram is shown, that is this circuit or this power system single line diagram has been shown in terms of a normal circuit that we have already we are very comfortable of solving. So this is actually the circuit that is being formed from the bus system. Okay, so I want all of you to go through this and try to write those equations by yourself. So this is the end of the class. We will continue to in the next class how to form this Y bus. Okay, thank you so much.